There's a moment nobody wants you about. You catch your reflection, and for a split second, you don't recognize the face looking back. Not because something is wrong, but because something has changed. And underneath that change, quietly, almost without a sound, is a fear most of us never say out loud. What if this is all moving toward an end? We live in a world that treats aging like a problem to be solved, creams to reverse it, routines to slow it, surgery to erase the evidence. And underneath all of it is one unspoken message. Getting older is something you should resist. So we fight, we optimize, we compare, and somewhere along the way, we stop living in our body and start managing it. And the fear doesn't go away, it just gets louder. Because you cannot outrun time, and the harder you run, the more exhausted you become. Buddhism begins with a truth. Most philosophies spend centuries avoiding. The first noble truth, dukkha, often translated as suffering, but more precisely, the ache of impermanence. Everything that is born will change. Everything that grows will age. Everything that lives will die. The Buddha didn't say this to frighten us. He said it so we would stop being surprised by it. Because most of our suffering around aging doesn't come from aging itself. It comes from the belief that it shouldn't be happening. That belief, I should still be who I was, is the real source of the ache. Buddhism calls this upadana, clinging. The mind holding tightly to what was unable to soften into what is. And clinging, the Buddha taught, is not protection. It is the wound itself. What if instead of clinging to youth, we learn to move with time, the way the river moves with the land? A river doesn't want the shape it had upstream. It simply becomes the next shape. And as for death, Buddhism doesn't ask you to pretend it isn't coming. It asks you to meet it with open eyes. I want to tell you about Anna. She was 54 when her mother passed, and in the months after, she noticed something unexpected. She had become afraid of her own face. Every gray hair felt like a reminder. Every line felt like a countdown. She told me, I kept thinking, if my mother could go, so could I. And the thought wouldn't leave me alone. One evening, She found herself sitting with an old journal, her mother's. She read an entry from 40 years ago. Her mother writing about her own mother's death. The same fear, the same question. And something shifted. Not a grand revelation, just a quiet recognition. This fear has been carried by every person who has ever loved someone. She wasn't broken for being afraid. She was human. And then, carefully, slowly, she started to ask a different question. Not how do I stop aging, but what does it mean to age well? Aging is not a loss of who you are. It is a return to what was always underneath the noise. The energy spent performing youth, the hours spent comparing, the weight of trying to hold still what was always meant to move. What remains when you stop resisting is not emptiness, it is presence. And death, when you stop hiding from it, becomes something unexpected. Not an ending you fear, but a horizon that makes this moment matter. You don't have to have it all figured out today, but maybe just for today, you can let one gray hair be, let one line stay, let the body be evidence of a life lived, not a problem to fix. If something in this video landed, leave one word in the comments. I read everyone. And if someone you know is quietly carrying this fear, share this with them. No explanation needed.